Yeah, I mean, Luka was making a defensive effort. Okay, I was impressed. Obviously, the elephant in the room is that they have a better record without LeBron James and with him. And to me, this is a view of what the Lakers are going to look like going forward. Whether LeBron James retires or goes into free agency, I don't expect him to be a Laker next season. Evaluate the team and kind of see what Luka and AR need for the future.
Luka Dončić just exploded for 51 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, leading the Los Angeles Lakers to a 142-130 win over the Chicago Bulls. But that's not actually the game we're focusing on today. To understand the bigger story, we need to rewind a few days earlier when the Lakers hosted the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team many believed would expose their weaknesses. Instead, the Lakers came out firing and completely dismantled them.
It can heat up in a hurry. He's now 1 for 10 from downtown. Doncic, nifty finish.
The Los Angeles Lakers beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 120-106, and Luka Dončić delivered a monster performance with a 31-point triple-double. Right beside him, Austin Reaves matched the scoring output with 31 points of his own, including an explosive 29 points in the second half. It wasn't even a nail-biter. The Lakers controlled the game, dictating the pace from start to finish. What made the result even more interesting was who wasn't on the court. LeBron James watched the entire game from the bench in street clothes. Now that sentence can easily sound like criticism of LeBron, but that's not the point here. LeBron is unquestionably one of the greatest players the game of basketball has ever seen. His legacy isn't up for debate, but something fascinating has been happening lately. Over the last 3 games without LeBron, the Lakers have looked like a completely different team. They beat Minnesota convincingly. They held the New York Knicks to just 97 points. And suddenly, the Lakers are playing some of their best basketball of the entire season without their longtime superstar on the floor. If you've been following the numbers this season, you probably already see where this conversation is going. Because the uncomfortable truth is starting to become clear. The Lakers may have finally discovered their real identity. In this breakdown, we're going to look at everything: the advanced stats, lineup data, and defensive metrics that reveal what's actually happening on the court. More importantly, we're going to talk about what Luka Dončić and Austin Reaves are building together and why their chemistry might matter far beyond just this season. There's also a bigger conversation brewing in Los Angeles, one that many fans and analysts are quietly thinking but few are willing to say out loud. What does the future of this franchise really look like? And if the front office is willing to be brutally honest with itself, what could the Lakers become if they fully commit to building around this emerging core heading into the 2026-27 season? Before we dive into the on-court chemistry and the growing Luka Reaves connection, we need to establish the baseline. Because the Lakers record with and without LeBron James this season tells a story that's hard to ignore. When LeBron plays, the Lakers are 26-18. That's solid. It's a profile of a respectable playoff team, probably somewhere around the 5th or 6th seed in the Western Conference if everything breaks right. But when LeBron sits, the Lakers are 14-7. And it's not just about the win-loss record. The advanced numbers make the situation even more intriguing. When Luka Dončić, LeBron James, and Austin Reaves share the floor, the 3 players the franchise is supposed to revolve around, the Lakers actually post a minus 9.8 net rating. That means when all 3 stars play together, the team is consistently getting outscored. That's not a small statistical blip. It's a pattern that shows up repeatedly throughout the season. Now flip the scenario. When Doncic and Reaves play without LeBron, the numbers change dramatically. Their 2-man lineup produces a plus 19.3 net rating, which ranks among the most dominant duos in the entire league. The same players who struggle together as part of a 3-star lineup suddenly become one of the most effective backcourt combinations in basketball the moment LeBron steps off the floor. And that raises a question the Lakers organization may eventually have to confront. Because when the offense flows through Luka Dončić and Austin Reaves, the spacing improves, the ball moves faster, and the entire team seems to find a rhythm that's been difficult to sustain with all 3 stars sharing the court.
Play a little basketball.
Finally, the Doncic hits foul call. He's got 14 in the first.
When Luka Dončić and Austin Reaves run the offense without LeBron James, the results are hard to ignore. In games where that duo has taken control, the Los Angeles Lakers have posted a remarkable 10-2 record. So the obvious question becomes, why does the drop-off happen when LeBron returns to the lineup? The short answer comes down to the fundamentals of basketball: spacing, timing, and clarity of roles. Great offenses thrive when every player knows exactly what their responsibility is. The ball moves quickly, the reads happen instantly, and the defense is always reacting instead of dictating the action. But when LeBron James and Luka Dončić share the floor, things get complicated. Both players are at their absolute best when the entire offense runs through them. They are two of the smartest playmakers the game has ever seen, but their skill sets naturally demand the same thing: the ball in their hands and control of the offense. That isn't a flaw. It's simply the reality of how both players are wired. Recently, Hall of Famer Paul Pierce said something that sparked a lot of debate when discussing the Lakers lineup. Pierce bluntly stated that the skill sets of LeBron and Luka are too repetitive. And while that comment may sound harsh, it captures the problem pretty well. The issue isn't talent. If anything, the Lakers have too much talent in similar roles. When two alpha-level ball handlers share the floor, the offenses start to feel forced, instead of flowing naturally. The system spends most of its time trying to balance both stars, touches, and responsibilities. Possessions slow down. The rhythm disappears. But when LeBron sits, the structure becomes far simpler. Suddenly, there's one clear primary creator: Luka Dončić. The reads become faster. The pace increases. The offense flows more smoothly because everyone understands exactly where the ball is supposed to go. And perhaps most importantly, Austin Reaves gets to play the role he's truly built for. Instead of standing in the corner waiting for the offense to develop around two superstars, Reaves becomes an active part of every possession. He's moving off screens, attacking space, and creating secondary playmaking opportunities. We'll dive deeper into Reaves' impact in a moment, because his numbers without LeBron on the floor are genuinely surprising. But first, there's another part of this story that deserves just as much attention: the defensive transformation. Heading into March, the Lakers ranked 22nd in the NBA in defensive rating, allowing 115.3 points per game. That's not the profile of a serious playoff defense. Teams with numbers like that usually get exposed the moment they face elite offensive opponents in the postseason. And the root cause wasn't difficult to identify. When the Lakers play heavy minutes with three players who all have defensive limitations, the system runs out of places to hide those weaknesses. At 41 years old, LeBron James is still extraordinary by any human standard. What he continues to accomplish this late in his career is almost unbelievable. But age inevitably affects certain areas of the game. His lateral quickness isn't what it once was, and opposing teams know it. Smart offenses hunt him in pick-and-roll situations, forcing him to defend quicker guards or cover large areas of the floor. Meanwhile, Luka Dončić has never built his reputation as a defensive stopper. When both players share the floor together, that leaves Austin Reaves in an impossible position. He's asked to help compensate for two defensive liabilities at once, something that would be extremely difficult for any guard in the league. But once LeBron is out of the rotation, the defensive lineup suddenly changes. Coach JJ Redick can move Marcus Smart into the wing rotation while bringing Rui Hachimura into a larger defensive role. Now the Lakers suddenly have strong point-of-attack defenders on both wings. That one adjustment completely shifts the defensive structure. During the three-game stretch without LeBron, the Lakers held opponents to just 106.7 points per game. They limited the New York Knicks, one of the better offensive teams in the league, to 97 points. They even managed to hold Anthony Edwards to an ice-cold 2 of 15 shooting performance. When Luka and Reaves share the court without LeBron, the Lakers post a defensive rating of 111, which would rank inside the top 10 in the NBA. That's a completely different defensive identity compared to the version of the team that struggles earlier in the season. But the most fascinating part of this story may actually be Austin Reaves himself. Many analysts have treated his recent production without LeBron as a simple hot streak. They've argued that the sample size is small or that the Lakers have benefited from favorable scheduling. But when you look closely at the numbers, it becomes clear that something much more significant may be happening. Without LeBron in the lineup this season, Austin Reaves is averaging 28.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, 7.8 assists per game. And those numbers aren't coming from a tiny two-game burst. They're spread across 16 games. That level of production would easily make him an all-star candidate on most teams in the NBA. Meanwhile, Luka Dončić during that same stretch is averaging 35.1 points, 9.3 rebounds, 8.4 assists. So what you're seeing is a backcourt where both players are performing at superstar-level production simultaneously. On many teams around the league, those two players would clearly be the first and second offensive options. And the reason it works is surprisingly simple once you watch the film. Austin Reaves is one of the best off-ball movers in the league. He thrives coming off screens. He reads defenses quickly. He understands spacing and timing in a way that complements Luka's playmaking perfectly. Reaves doesn't need to dominate the ball to be effective, but when he receives it, he's fully capable of attacking the defense. That combination makes him the ideal backcourt partner for a ball-dominant superstar. Instead of competing with Luka for control of the offense, he amplifies Luka's strengths. It's a dynamic that's reminiscent of the chemistry Luka previously had with Kyrie Irving during their time together on the Dallas Mavericks. And Luka himself has acknowledged how valuable that connection is becoming. After the Lakers' victory over the Knicks, Doncic spoke openly about playing alongside Reaves. He said, "Playing with him makes my life easy because he draws so much attention and helps others too." That statement says a lot. It means Luka recognizes that Reaves isn't just benefiting from his playmaking. He's actually making Luka's job easier as well. The two-man game they've developed is beginning to look like a real offensive system rather than random improvisation. Typically, the possession begins with Luka bringing the ball up the court. He draws the defense toward him, often pulling two defenders into the action. Then he swings the ball to Reaves, who might be coming off a screen or popping into the mid-post. From there, Reaves has several options. If the defender trails the screen, he takes the open jumper. If help rotates toward him, he finds the open teammate. If the defense overplays the passing lane, Luka suddenly finds himself walking into a wide-open three-point shot. There's no easy solution for opposing defenses when both reads are dangerous. It becomes a constant cycle of pressure and release, the same dynamic that has powered elite backcourt pairings throughout NBA history. What makes it even more exciting is the fact that this duo is still just getting started. They haven't even played a full season together as a primary pairing. The chemistry is still developing. The instincts are still forming, which means the ceiling of this partnership is incredibly difficult to predict. But that leads to the real question facing the Lakers organization. Because as promising as the Luka Reaves pairing looks, the current roster still isn't a championship team. They represent a foundation, not a finished product. So what does the next step actually look like? And perhaps the most uncomfortable question of all, is there any realistic version of this team where the fit works with LeBron still at the center of the offense? The honest answer might be difficult for fans to accept. The Luka-Reaves partnership isn't simply the result of LeBron's absence. His absence merely provided enough playing time for the league to see something that was already there. A pairing where the numbers make sense, where the film supports the data, where the offense flows naturally. Once you recognize that reality, the conversation changes. Instead of asking whether the duo works, you start asking what kind of roster they need around them. And answering that question requires some difficult decisions. None of this is about disrespecting LeBron James. His career is one of the greatest in the history of sports. Even at 41, he continues to produce meaningful numbers on a competitive team. That alone is extraordinary. But what works for a legendary veteran and what works for a championship caliber roster aren't always the same thing. And the Lakers now have Luka Dončić in his prime. Whenever you have a player of that caliber, the timeline becomes urgent. It's time to build a team capable of winning immediately. Coach J.J. Redick recently hinted at the underlying issue when discussing the roster publicly. He explained that one player has spent more than 2 decades dominating the ball while becoming the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Another player has already earned 5 first-team All-NBA selections doing the same thing. 2 generational creators. One basketball, neither naturally designed to play off the other. That's simply the structure of the current roster. Realistically, the cleanest path forward may arrive once LeBron's contract expires. At that point, the front office would gain financial flexibility and a clear opportunity to rebuild the roster around the Luka Reaves core. The blueprint isn't complicated. Add a versatile 3 and D wing who can defend multiple positions while spacing the floor. Find a starting center who protects the rim, sets strong screens, and doesn't require offensive touches. The lineup that has shown flashes, Doncic, Reaves, Smart, Hachimura, and DeAndre Ayton, is already close to that structure. The real challenge is whether the front office has the clarity and courage to fully commit to building around that identity. Fortunately, the type of players the Lakers need are always in demand around the league. Switchable defensive wings who can shoot threes are valuable everywhere. But the Lakers would have a compelling pitch. Instead of asking a player to sacrifice their role next to an aging superstar, they'd be offering the chance to play alongside Luka Dončić, one of the 5 best players in the world, during the absolute peak of his career. One name that could enter the conversation is Peyton Watson, a young defensive wing whose skill set fits perfectly into that mold. And with Los Angeles being his hometown, the possibility becomes even more interesting. Timing matters as well. When the 2026-27 season begins, Luka Dončić will be 27 years old. That's typically the moment when superstars fully enter their championship window. Considering he already has 5 first-team All-NBA selections, the potential for a dominant multi-year run is very real. If the Lakers build the right roster around him next offseason, they could quickly become one of the most dangerous teams in the Western Conference. Of course, there's still the present to consider. The Lakers currently sit near the top of the conference standings. So the obvious question becomes, can this team make a deep playoff run right now? Realistically, the answer is probably no. Teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs simply have deeper and more balanced rosters at the moment. A second-round exit might be the most realistic outcome. But even if that happens, the remainder of this season will still reveal something incredibly important. If the Lakers succeed with Luka and Reaves leading the offense while LeBron plays a reduced role, the organization will receive a very clear signal about the direction it should follow. And if LeBron returns fully and the same fit issues resurface against elite defenses, that will send another message as well. Either way, the evidence is already forming. The Lakers have something real. A 26-year-old Slovenian superstar who makes the game look effortless, paired with a hard-working guard from Arkansas who earned every opportunity through relentless development. That combination represents the future. The sooner the Lakers fully embrace it, the sooner they can transform from an interesting team into one that the rest of the league truly fears. For much of this season, the conversation surrounding LeBron James has focused on legacy. Can he still dominate at 41? Where will he rank among the greatest players of all time? What will his final years look like? Those discussions are fascinating and deserved, but they aren't the most important conversations for the Lakers right now. The real conversation is about Luka Dončić and Austin Reaves, because together, they might already represent the foundation of the Lakers' next championship era. Now, the only question left is whether the organization is ready to build around it.